Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. And I hope all of you guys are having a great day no matter where you are from, because as the bull rally continues in crypto, there is hundreds of millions of dollars being raised and a lot of it is going towards Web3. So as we work our way through the plethora of tabs that I have open, you're going to see that crypto has no shortage of funding and that there is a lot of capital being raised inside of the world of crypto and blockchain at the moment. But I also want to show a pretty unique pattern that highlights when the bull markets and when the bear markets happen in crypto. And I'm sure you can see from this little chart that I have made on my screen that there is definitely a rhyme and rhythm as to when the bull markets happen and when the bear markets happen. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a deep dive into that today, as well as a little bit of technical analysis as well. So if any of this interests you, make sure you stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. Now, as I said earlier, one of the reoccurring themes here is going to be the amount of money that is flowing into the world of Web3. By far, the biggest one that we have lately was Hashkey Capital raising $500 million for their Web3 fund. Now, what exactly is this going to go into? Because we know that the word Web3 is kind of an all-encompassing term, and every company, every person seems to kind of associate it with different things. But it looks like with Hashkey specifically here, they want to focus on a couple of things. So obviously they want to focus on cryptos, blockchain tech, things of that nature, but they want to push a new decentralized era of the internet and also work with DeFi and NFTs. Now, most of you are probably familiar with DeFi and NFTs because they've been around in crypto for quite some time. But if you're not, DeFi just essentially stands for decentralized finance. So making a lot of the finance world that we have in our traditional ecosystem today, but trying to add aspects of decentralization to it so that it can be more appealing to everyone on a global scale and not just certain people within a certain country or with a certain credit score or, you know, with a certain amount of money and things of that nature. So it looks to kind of really decentralize first world finance as we all know it and love it. And then, of course, I don't really think NFTs need any kind of an introduction here. I feel like everyone at this point is familiar with NFTs, but the good old non-fungible tokens that is typically used as art, but we're beginning to see them getting used as so much more than just art. And I think that we really have just brushed the surface of what NFTs will eventually get around to, because what we can do with them is we can essentially attach value or an asset or a unique code to identify something and then attach that to the blockchain, or a blockchain rather. And so it doesn't matter if it's a picture or a movie or music or art or ownership, it doesn't really matter. It can pretty much be anything that is given a unique code. But more often than not, this comes in the form of a picture, at least as of right now. Now let's take a look at a couple of these other ones. Again, we're just gonna skim through these. We're gonna fast forward through them, because if we were to go in depth on every round of funding that's happened in the last month here, this would probably be an hour-long video. But to kind of highlight this very quickly, the Easy Company has raised $14.2 million. ARK has raised nearly $3 million. Obol has raised around $12.5 million. Elixir has raised $2.1 million. We have Paraffin that has raised $15 million. Foundation raises $7 million. Sortium raises nearly $8 million. And Quasar raises $5.5 million. So if you're looking at this and saying, hey, is crypto dead yet? It seems like everything has died up. Crypto hasn't gone anywhere. Well, if this says nothing else, let this say that crypto is very much alive. And if you have a friend or a family member or someone that is questioning whether crypto will survive this, show them the sheer amount of funding that came in last year during the bear market, because it was record high in the bear market, but also in the first month of this year. I mean, we're halfway through the month, and there is a ridiculous amount of funding pouring into crypto in just about every single corner that you can look at. But let's look at this pattern that I talked about earlier, right? Because with Bitcoin working towards this typical 3 to 4 year cycle, I want to show everyone someone that just not enough people are talking about. and that is the methodical movement of Bitcoin. So if we go back to 2011, the percentage return that we saw was plus 1,473. Then in 2012, we saw a percentage return of plus 186. In 2013, it was plus 5,507. And then what do you know? On the fourth year, we saw a loss of 58%. Well, what about the next 4 years? We saw plus 35%, plus 125%, then plus 1331%. Then again, on the fourth year, we saw minus 73%. Well, what about the following 4 years? Well, then we saw a plus 95%, plus 301%, and then plus 90%. And of course, on the fourth year again, we saw that crypto fell by another minus 81%. So what we've done is we've actually converted this over to a spreadsheet to make this very, very simple. So we have 3 years of green, then a year of red. And then we have, and I'm going to move this over just, I think we're going to have to move this over just a little bit so that everyone can really see exactly what I'm showing over here. But what we have is 3 years of green, then a year of red. Then 3 years of green, then a year of red. And then 3 years of green, and then a year of red. And guess what? Last year was the year of red. So if history is to tell us anything here, crypto, specifically Bitcoin, has a very methodical cycle. And every single cycle that we have, everyone says, this is the different one. It's going to be different. People said it in 2014 and 15. They said it in 2018. They said it during the COVID crash. They said this is a black swan event. This is unlike anything that it's ever seen before. Doesn't even matter. Now we're in 2022, finally into 2023, and people are saying the exact same thing of, oh, this time is different. Now, is Bitcoin going to be at $50,000, maybe even $100,000 by the end of this year? No, probably not, maybe not. I doubt it'll be back at its all-time highs before this year is over, but the long-term sustainability, and I think that if this is going to show us anything, it's that the worst is behind us. A lot of money is still coming into crypto, and I think that there's going to be a bright couple years ahead for Bitcoin and a lot of the altcoins that did actual work in the bear market, because a lot of projects, the bear market hit and they kind of ducked out. They said, we're not going to do anything. It's not worth it. They cut back on just everything that they were doing and their activity. And I think those are going to be the projects that kind of disappeared. But the projects that were working vigilantly throughout that bear market, they're going to be the ones that really see some profit here. So props to goodfinancialsense.com for kind of highlighting this. It's a really, really good list, and I think it's just something that everyone needs to learn a little bit more about. Now, what about what's happening on the chart over here? Because Bitcoin is seeing a resistance, and let's just zoom out a little bit to get a little bit of perspective here. But Bitcoin has a previous top, and this is what it's looking at right here at the moment. And so while this is happening, a previous resistance level that has not broken yet is still acting as a continued resistance level over here for Bitcoin. So we tested it once right around 21,500. We've talked about this in some of our previous videos and especially inside of Crypt Nation. So if you want to get early access to all of our TA, we actually just put out a newsletter that did a very, very in-depth analysis about this bull rally and everything that's happening in crypto when we put that out on Monday. So if you want to get early access, definitely check out Crypt Nation. There should be a link to that in the description down below, but you can also go to cryptorevolution.com. But what we're seeing over here is that we are still testing this resistance level, and Bitcoin's actually seeing a little bit of rejection from this resistance level. And so I think the likely thing to happen here is, again, we're waiting to see until this $21,500 area breaks, but until that happens, we definitely have more support at around 19,500 around the 200-day moving average. We really want to see this level hold, but beyond that, we have more support at around 18,500, and I mean plenty more just as we continue to go down. So I'd say 19.5, 18.5, all around 17 and 16,000. There's going to be a lot of support as well. So even if we do get back down there, I think it's becoming increasingly less likely that we see a new low from this, especially when the 200-day moving average is now broken. I think that's a really good fundamental sign for crypto. So that's going to go ahead and round us up. I hope all of you did enjoy this one. Again, a lot happening. I hope all of you are seeing the correlations and what happens with Bitcoin's annual return, but also just the sheer amount of not only just the different platforms that are raising money, like how many are out there raising money and actually getting it, but also the dollar amount. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being raised for cryptocurrency. And if the big money and the smart money and the institutional money is investing, it seems that they have an agenda that they want to push here, and it seems like cryptocurrency is definitely part of it. And one of the things I actually forgot to say earlier, but they mentioned that sovereign wealth, and I want to actually see if we can't find this. Sovereign wealth funds were part of this entire process. So it says basically they received commitments, and we're talking about Hashkey. Hashkey received commitments from a range of institutional investors, including sovereign wealth funds, corporations, and family offices. Now, if you're not familiar with what a sovereign wealth fund is, we're talking pretty much about entities, countries, governments saying that they want to push this, as well as, you guessed it, large corporations. So if governments want to push this, if large corporations want to push this, and it seems like a lot of people want to push this, I am having a hard time seeing where the negatives of crypto are right here. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But there seems to be a lot going towards the future of crypto, and a lot of people, a lot of big names are really trying to push this thing in the coming years. So that's just my 2 cents. Again, I hope all of you have enjoyed all my little rants here, and you guys are all able to get the points that I'm trying to make across. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smack that like button, smack that subscribe button, because we have videos coming out just like this one every single week, multiple times a week. So make sure you stay in the loop for everything that is crypto related. But until next time, I will see all of you very, very soon.